And there it is. G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for part number 8 of my cold dual-wielding Reaper playthrough. Now, as you just saw, I do indeed have Ilgor's Eternal Vigil, and that was my 4th run through there, or was it the 3rd? 3rd or 4th, anyway. I've got Oppressors of Mending, I've got Mystic of Blight, and then I've got Stalwart of Tormenting Souls. Now, Tormented Souls is kind of whatever. Stalwart is a bit of extra health. I'll take it. The main reason I want this is the extra heal, the extra duration, and the extra cold damage on Pneumatic Burst. That's all good stuff. Unfortunately, level 55, but, well, what can you do, right? So I'm going to sell all the rest of that. Now, I've already been around and collected all of the quests and such from the Coven, and we're just going to move forward with the Coven quests. We are going hostile with Barholm on this character. Now, I've very rarely actually done this, because usually I'd much rather have the option of fighting the Ravager. I know that in Ultimate, what we can do is side with Barholm, and then we can still fight the Ravager. I'm not sure I'm going to do that, but it is an option. The other thing as well is, in the last episode, I had a comment about why are we taking Spectral Wrath. I think it was 295th Street. If I've got your name wrong, my apologies. I'm pretty sure that's who it was. The reason why, and I'll show you here in a second, the reason why is we actually do a lot of Aether damage. So, Troll Rage here, you'll note 2,000 cold damage and about 1,000, just under 1,000. Alright, 780 odd Aether damage with every swing. The other thing is that Spectral Wrath itself does a decent amount of damage. If a group of archers is over here, and the one in the middle or even at the edge shoots me, they all get hit for this damage, and then all of those hits can trigger various procs that go on attack. So that's why I maxed Spectral Wrath, and I will note as well that the end build, the level 100 build, I think has only 1 point in this, just for triggering procs. Because later, we're not going to be doing anywhere near as much Aether damage. And so later, it's going to be less relevant. Let me get out of this goop. But for now, while we're leveling, it's pretty good. It's a good chunk of extra damage. Also, we do actually have a decent amount of Vitality and Aether damage on various skills. So, Ill Omen here is cold and Vitality damage. Necrotic Edge is all cold, but Reaping Strike, Vitality, and Aether. I don't think there's any Vitality or Aether over here in the Nightblade stuff, but there is a decent amount of it just kind of floating around the build, and so shredding those resistances is not nothing. It's not something I'm going to be focusing on. You know, I'm not taking the Widow, I'm not taking Ratosh for Devotions, none of that's going to happen. But, getting a little bit extra damage on actually the second main damage type we do is not a bad thing. Okay, I try to point this out every time I come through this section, but often I'll forget. However, this little foot here, so this little shape here reminds me of a foot. Here's your big toe, here's your little toe, there's the heel, and there is a rotting stump right next to the big toe. So every time I come through, I try and point that out, and I try and click on that particular stump. The other thing I always do coming through here is we're going into Janaxia's den. And we're going to kill Janaxia. Now, Janaxia, potentially, has one of the sword options for this character. Now, we are level 47. I think we're using level 35 weapons. I haven't checked what next level we can get better Malkadar's blades. But it's probably 55 or 50. However, we could just use one of these swords if it drops, and if it rolls well. Before we get to that point, though, let's just go raid the walls over here. Where is it? Alright, fine. I'll do it. I hate spinning the camera, but anyway, makes it easier. Alright, those pants could be an upgrade. Kind of a side grade. I'm almost certainly not going to use them, but definitely worth keeping an eye out. Okay. Savage Totem, let's go ahead and pop it like it's hot. Let's get rid of these stone golems as fast as we can, because if they start throwing rocks, we're going to have a very bad time very, very quickly. There we go. A decent chunk of blues, and wouldn't you know it? Yet another Perdition. I actually had the Perdition chest and 2 pairs of shoulders just before I started recording this, and I went ahead and sold them. I think from memory I was missing... Yeah, I didn't have enough piercing resistance to swap them in. I do now. And I probably should swap this in, actually. We'll lose a little bit of health, but we'll gain some vitality and bleeding, which we don't really need, but we'll lose piercing, which is fine, and we'll lose some physical, which also is quite high at the moment. So I am actually going to swap that in, just before we kill Jinaxia. Not that she does a huge amount of physical damage anyway, but, you know, maybe. I don't think I could do the shoulders as well, if I still had the Perdition shoulders. So if I take that off, yeah, piercing goes away. But that's alright, we've got some nice gear upgrades coming at 50 here, and we can definitely make do with what we have. Alright, so Jinaxia. Jinaxia, from memory, is either Vitality or Aether damage, and I want to say it's Vitality. Let's just go kill her. So Jinaxia the Betrayer, yeah, that's a lot of Vitality, I think. Well, it is kind of purple. I don't know. That on the ground is either Vitality or Bleeding. That looks like Vitality. It shouldn't really matter by this point in the game. Your resistances should be maxed anyway. And she's dropped the Storm Strife. So there's a Flame Strife, a Chill Strife, and a Storm Strife. And you'll never guess what kind of damage they do. But she didn't drop the Chill Strife, so I'm kind of not interested. The other one is Laria, the other witch. Laria can also drop the 3 Strife swords, I believe. So, yeah, if we get one, we get one. It's not something I'm going to farm. Ideally, I want to keep dual Malkadar's blades until level 100. But if I get a better sword, then I get a better sword, you know? It is what it is. Alright, let's take these guys out. Put the Ill Omen up. I've got a decent chunk of points into Ill Omen, so it's shredding enemy damage actually by a fair amount. And that is important on this character because, okay, I look fairly tanky at the moment, but trust me when I say this character is not tanky. Alright, 1 point in here. I'm going to take 1 point in Elemental Awakening. It's a little bit of resistance there. It's a little bit of Frostburn damage. You could max this out if you wanted to. The Frostburn damage is not... It's not irrelevant. It's actually pretty decent, but I'm going to skip it for now. Merciless Repertoire is another one where you can take it, but I'm actually not going to. So I'm going to push on towards Execution. Also, continuing on from my earlier point about Spectral Wrath, if you don't think this is worth having, just take 1 point and put your other 9 points towards getting Execution. If you don't think you need the... Well, honestly, we're here for the offensive ability and the health, but if you don't think you need that, just put this at 1 point, put those extra points towards getting Execution. The Blade Spirits will also be quite nice, but majority of what we're going for at the end of the Nightblade tree is definitely Execution. Alright, not too worried about these guys, but look at the damage, and a lot of this is just, they have Spectral Wrath ticking on them. And you can see their health bar is going down. Now, they're not being deleted instantly. This, in spite of the fact that we do a decent amount of Aether damage, it's not an Aether damage build. But while you're leveling, Spectral Wrath is pretty good AoE damage, and that is something that this build kind of lacks. So that's another good reason for taking it. Again, if you don't think you need it, if you don't want it even, just put those points towards Execution. You'll get there a little bit earlier, and I think Execution is actually a pretty big deal for this build. I don't remember if it's AoE though. I'll have a look. Just let me kill off the last of these crabs. Is it an AoE proc? It is not, but it's a lot of cold damage, so that's nice. Don't forget, as I said, click on all of the stumps when you find them. There is a farming route that I have a video for on the channel if you need to get more of these, but it's easier if you just kind of notice them as you go through and pick them up. It's not something that's really critical to have at this point, but you will need them later. Alright. See this guy over here? He's about to get hit by Spectral Wrath. There it is. Now watch his health just tick down. I say as nothing happens. But the idea is basically that. You do a little bit of damage with it. It's decent against crowds. You'll halfway kill a crowd before you can, you know, slice your way through it. So it's good supplemental damage. And like I said, we do a lot of Aether damage just from Spectral Binding. So having Spectral Wrath as well is not horrible. It's definitely not needed, but it's nice to have. Right, Spirit Weaver Circlet, Terra, Wrathbringer. So this one is +1 Occultist and Arcanist. Is that a conversion of some sort? Chaos to Aether. Okay. Well, that's rubbish. However, we'll pick up the rest of this stuff. Terra? No. Alright, let's continue heading north here. The next stop, I believe, is the Ugdenbog Rift. There it is, just showing up on the map. The other thing I may end up doing later in the playthrough is I may actually end up swapping Lethal Assault, or at least taking Ring of Steel. So either swap this out in exchange for Ring of Steel and specifically Circle of Slaughter, or I might just one-point these. Because the Circle of Slaughter thing here, that fumble is really, really good defensively. It's basically a chance to miss melee attacks. So if you got 1 point in this, it's got a stun. If you got 1 point in this, it's got chance to fumble. If you get this up to, I think maxed out, this is like 25-27% fumble chance, something like that. And then you also get freezing damage and cold damage conversion on this as well. That's a very nice defensive skill. It doesn't give you the flat cold damage that Lethal Assault does, but maybe you have enough damage and you just want to be a little more tanky. That's definitely something you can do. Alright, so we found the Rift Gate, so the next thing we need to worry about is finding the Undergrowth. Now, anyone who's watched the channel for a long time knows that I really don't like the Undergrowth. But we do have to go there because quests. This is Laria's house. We don't have the quest for Laria yet, so I'm going to avoid knocking on her door. Now, I've got the first spot here. This is the one you want. If you don't get this, it's fine, but this is the one that you want because it allows a nice little skip later on. So I'm going to get through here as fast as I can. I will kill Old Mate here because he has a star above his head, but otherwise, kind of don't care. The rest of this stuff, I mean, it is kind of worth killing, if that's how you want to put it, because XP, because loot. These Moss Flingers will occasionally drop Ugden Blooms as well, and apparently we get reputation with the Coven, so it's not bad, but I don't know, I hate this area. It was even worse when these things used to sunder. That was obnoxious. Anyway, they don't sunder anymore, so it's all good. Alright, just here there is always an Exalted Stash, so make sure you hit this on the way through. This is kind of the only thing that I consider to be semi-required to do in here, aside from the boss. There's really no reason not to hit this. You get a guaranteed blue out of it, or better. You can get purples out of those. So it can be worth doing. Usually it'll be a blue that you're not interested in, but hey, free blue items, right? Alright, so we've made it to the boss door. I'm just going to clear the area because there's some loot in the walls here, which you can kind of see over here. So if we go in here, we've got Hidden Remains. There's usually another one here as well. Lich Guard. It's not horrible from memory. It is a shield, but... oh, that's a pet shield. Never mind, that's horrible. Alright. So how do you fight Sylvaria? Well, you pretty much Shadow Strike into her face. You put Ill Omen on her, and then you just hold left click. And that's pretty much it. And whenever Lethal Assault's about to fall off, you go ahead and refresh that, use Ill Omen on cooldown, and everything should more or less just die around you. And you should be in no danger at all. Definitely need to get new weapons soon. I haven't actually seen that Sunder for a very long time. Right, so Sylvaria does drop the living rings, or the vine rings. That's actually not too bad. Can I replace a piece of gear with that? I don't care about the lightning sphere. The skill points on this are not amazing, but that flat cold damage I want. The health and offensive ability really good. The energy regen's kind of whatever. And the resistances are also kind of whatever. But yeah, we've got decent vitality resistance already. So instead of a soul shard on this, I could put something like maybe a frozen heart to get some more health. Or there's a vengeful soul or something like that. There's one of those that's got a lot of offensive ability in it. So that could be good. Right. So I said at the start that this particular door, this particular entry where it was, is really good because it allows you to do a skip. And that skip is you just rift out. If this was the third or last place where this can spawn, this run is about the same. It's not really a skip, I guess. It's about the same distance as running out, but this way, I don't have to be in that Forsaken hellhole. And I can just go left here. So I enjoy it when it's in the first spot because it means I don't have to walk back through all the rubbish that I skipped on the way in. And I can just head north on the left side. Maybe there's more stuff to kill. Maybe there isn't. There's not really a whole lot here at the moment. But if we hug the left side here, we will find the witches, which should be popping up. Yep, there they are. So we will rescue the witches. There we go. So yeah, we'll come over here, we'll rescue those witches, we'll send them on their way. That's another quest completed. These Bloodsingers are healers, so you want to kill them pretty quickly. They're basically priests with skin. And we do have to go back a little bit because this Ancient Ruins entrance up here does indeed have both a quest in it and also a devotion shrine. Now, I've been hanging on to a Wendigo spirit for this quest. If you don't have one, you'll need to go back to town, but honestly, it's no big deal. Here is the devotion shrine, so let's just pop that. And if I'm remembering where I was up to correctly, and I'm not saying I do remember, I think we were doing... Were we doing the tortoise? No, we have the tortoise already. Ah, Elemental Storm. Okay. So, a little bit of spirit, a little bit of defensive ability. This next one here, Elemental Storm, this is really good. So I'm going to put that probably on Ill Omen, but you could put it on Amaras's Blade Burst as well. Either one of them should give you a very good proc rate. And we do use both of them quite frequently, so either one would be fine. But we need to get our hands on one more Devotion Shrine to do that. Honestly, it's maybe even worth going back and getting the one near Port Valbury to do that. I don't know if I will, but getting Elemental Storm is a lot of extra damage. It's good AoE damage, just from the proc itself, and it also shreds resistances. Okay, Ugdal here. Are you trapped? Have a Wendigo spirit. RIP. So we get Coven Reputation, and we get Ethereal Missive. Now we're going hostile with Barholm, which means I don't care about Barholm Reputation this time. So actually, we won't even get the quest for Laria, because we won't be progressing the Barholm questline that far. So never mind. It doesn't matter. All right. Do I want to go and get the conflagration? So in the conflagration, there is one quest to do the cannons. There is a totem, there is a devotion shrine, and the entry to Port Valbury, which does have another devotion shrine. I'm tempted to go and get that. I don't think I skipped any other devotion shrines on the way up here, so that's kind of the only one I have. if I don't get that, there's no devotion shrines around Barrowholm. The next one is going to be Mammoth Outskirts, I think, which is a decent way. So I am actually going to get to the Barrowholm Rift, and I'm going to go do the conflagration one. Getting the proc on getting Elemental Storm and start leveling it is pretty important. Now, the conflagration is somewhat dangerous, but I think we can handle it. I think I'll be alright. Alright. So if you didn't get this one over here, what you want to do is you want to hug the right-hand wall. So just follow this up here. You'll end up going across over here, and there's 2, maybe 3 spots where the conflagration, the undergrowth can spawn along this edge. If you don't find it there, when you get to this little brick, head south. I'll actually show you where it is down here. It's on this tree. I can get past this stuff. It spawns kind of here-ish. I'm pretty sure it's this one. It might be this one, but I'm pretty sure it's this one on the left. It'll be just here. So that's another way, or another place you can find it. This looks like it might have some loot hidden in the wall there. Let me get rid of all this rubbish here. And then... yeah, maybe not. No. It's been a while since I checked the map for this area. Okay, so we've made it to Barrowholm. And like I said, at this point we're going to go and get that other devotion shrine. A little bit jumping around, but I think getting that proc before we have that massive run through all the chaos stuff is probably good. If you're not familiar with this section, I understand. This area is quite dangerous, and I generally recommend people to avoid it. If you're not confident, then I would still say avoid it. But if you do know what you're doing, it's kind of safe-ish. So, you know what? You guys can stay there, that's fine. Basically, the idea is you just watch your health, and when you get to half, use Pneumatic Burst. If you need to do it again, you have a potion. But the way you do it is to just not panic, and to kind of know where you're going. If you know where you're going, then you know that you have an out. So I'm standing on Aether here, which is not great, but it's fine. I know where I'm going, I know how to get off. The other thing as well is if there's enemies, say I'm over here and I get pinned in between those 2 crystals, I kill the crystals and then I Shadow Strike over here, and I'm out of the goop. Now, this detonation site here, that's the entry for Port Valbury. There is another devotion shrine in there. However, Port Valbury is considerably more dangerous than just a little bit of goop on the floor. So I'm not going to go in there. We'll get that one on Ultimate when it's just pay an Aether Shard for the devotion point instead of potentially die to goop on the ground. So I'm going to skip that one. Again, you can go do it if you want. It is a devotion shrine that you can get a little earlier, but I'm going to leave it. I'm also not going to do this totem. Ancient Aether Warp totems, potentially, very, very dangerous. So I'm going to leave that. I have died to that exact totem before. It's killed a couple of my conjurers. So I'm going to avoid it. You can call me a coward in the comments if you want. And you'd be right. But hey, he who flees and runs away lives to flee another day. And you'll be no less dead for being brave about it. Alright, we're nearly at the end here. We should be seeing the devotion shrine kind of pop up on the map. If we go to the top here... Yep, there it is. So there's my desecrated shrine. We do have actually a boss to fight before we worry about that though. And before we go any further, so I'm going to try and skip a lot of this by shadow striking past it. And, oh, hello, Asper the Swift. Swiftly died. There he goes. Alright. And we can pop out here. Sometimes the shrine, or the totem, will be over here. Up to you if you want to do it. Again, I'm scared, so I'm not going to do it. The boss here, and we're going to see him here in a second. There he is. The boss here, the Herald of the Flame, you have to kill him before you can get access to the Exalted stash in the area, before you can get access to the cannons. Basically, he's just a boss you have to kill in order to do this little section here. So, Herald of the Flame, pretty sure it doesn't drop anything I'm interested in. I think it's the Herald of the Stars, or the Herald of Destruction that has the cold weapon. I don't think it's going to be the flame one, but, you know, maybe. We'll see. So he's going to start summoning the big boys. There it is. There's the big boy. I'm going to ignore the big boy, and I'm just going to concentrate on the boss. The big boy is going to die to Spectral Wrath and various other things. Alright. So Veil of Shadow there. More Aether-resistant shredding. I mean, honestly, we could do an Aether dual-wielding Reaper as well. And this is the weapon I would use. Getting 12% resistance shred on Night's Chill. Actually, we just wouldn't take Night's Chill because it's applied to Veil of Shadow. Getting that is pretty good. And if you got two of these, Aether Fire of the Aether on both of them, I mean, that's pretty good. That's a lot of flat Aether damage. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, we're not doing Aether, so, I mean, never mind. There's my Devotion Shrine done, which means I've now got Elemental Storm, which is one of the better procs for an Elemental build. Whatever you do, don't put them on the Necrotic Edge, don't put them on Reaping Strike. These only have a chance to go off, and then they have a chance to trigger Elemental Storm. So if you have a 25% chance, or even, let's say 20% chance for Necrotic Edge, it's 24, but let's pretend it's 20. And then you have a 25% chance for Elemental Storm on attack. That means if I were to put it on here, and we're pretending this is 20%, this would actually be a 5% proc chance. So, unless you have no other choice, don't ever put a proc on a WPS. Always put them on an actual skill. So, our main attack is already in use with Rumor. The two options we really have, you could use Shadow Strike, but Amarast's Blade Burst or Ill Omen. Let's see what the proc chance is. So 45% chance when on Amarast's. If I put it on Ill Omen, it's 25%, but Ill Omen hits every target it's applied to once every second. So I'm going to leave it on Ill Omen, actually. It's probably not a big deal which one of those two you pick, but I'm going to go with Ill Omen. You can put it wherever you like. Don't forget to grab the guns for the Black Legion, and we are done here. So you've got a star on your head. I wonder if we'll see the Elemental Storm proc here. Yep, there it is. So, you've got stars as well. As long as we keep the Ill Omen ticking, we should have the resistance shredding active most of the time. Alright, let's just bounce back to the Coven here, sell some stuff, and then we'll move on with Barrowholm. Here we go. Right, I want to keep most of that stuff. So, Aether Woe, I mean, if we were doing dual-wielding Aether, this would also be pretty good, so I'd be sitting pretty for dual-wielding Aether stuff. These pants are not bad. I'm going to hang on to those for a minute. Those, probably no. No. What do you got? Nah. That's fine. Definitely don't want any of these weapons. What about you? I would like to use this. I really need more Aether resistance, though. How's Bleeding? Bleeding and Elemental both way over. So actually, I'm going to swap the Wardstone here. I'm going to swap that for an Aether Soul, assuming I have enough Aether Crystals, which, I mean, that's not really a safe assumption, but it's a definite maybe. Also, could swap the gloves here. Yep, we're going to swap those over. And hopefully I remember to melt those for the... Well, actually, I don't need to hope. I'm just going to go do it. I want my component back. Alright, so, keep the add-on. There we go. On there. Am I going to use this? Yes. Yes, I am. We'll lose 5% physical resistance. We'll gain a bunch of armor. probably actually gain health as well. Yeah, we gained health. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Keep the scaled hide. There we go. Armor rating going up. I would like some more on my chest. But obviously can't always get what you want. Those are no good. Those are no good. Rime Frost of Haste. Okay, these are pretty good. The resistances are not great, I will admit. However, that chance of attack speed and slowed movement retaliation is pretty good. The Aether Resist is nice. 12% move speed. Do I need move speed? No. But it's not horrible. And then Physique. The health is probably worth more, actually. Cold damage is nice. You know what? What did I just do? This is not a merchant. I don't think I'm going to bother. This is not the belt I thought it was. I was going to say this is a cold and vitality proc, but it's not. Alright, back to the Coven. We can bank some stuff, we can turn in some quests, and we have to go tell the Barrowholm peoples that actually we're going to try and murder them. And we're not just going to try. It's going to be, well, maybe not fun, but it's going to be easy. Okay, back to Barrowholm. Could turn that other quest in a bit. Now, it's been a very long time since I went hostile with Barholm. I think I've only done it on one of my Death Knights to get Namadea's Eye, which is a medal. And the first character I came through here on. I kind of had a feeling this place was a bit sus, and so I decided not to join them. Or actually, maybe I didn't know you could join them. But for whatever reason, I've only done this like twice, so...
we do not take kindly to that here.
I'm taking what I want, hostile with Barholm. And then here's Scorv, and he is the Servant of Ravager. Interesting that he turns into a Wraith. But anyway, there's the cellar key. And that's going to get us into the cellar, which is kind of down here-ish. So, all of the NPCs now go away. And they're replaced, apparently, with Turned. I wonder if they're going to be in the houses where the merchant wasn't there, I don't think. Geez, it's been ages since I went hostile with these guys. Alright. The cellar, you can see the cellar there. I'm pretty sure this is the wrong way. Yeah, it is. You gotta go around. But we're going to go in, and we're going to find Namadea, and kill Namadea. And then we're going to wear its head as a helmet, which sounds really gross, but, you know. Scorv's key fits in the cellar door. Let's go in. So it's basically a whole bunch of Wendigos, which is actually not that scary. Namadea at the end is a lot of vitality and bleeding, I think, damage. It's not particularly worrisome, but you very quickly get Nemesis with these guys, so there's a decent chance we'll run into the Reaper at some point if we farm this helmet a lot. I think I probably will just leave these guys hostile. Having one character that can't fight the Ravager, probably not a big deal. If you do want to be able to fight the Ravager, though, you will have to change your mind and be friendly with these guys in Ultimate. Otherwise, you just won't be able to fight the Ravager, which I really hope they fix that in Fangs of Astrakhan. I should be able to fight the god if you know, if I've made his entire faction mad at me, why can't I fight him? I guess we can do this as well. There's Elemental Storm doing work. Actually triggering, which is quite nice. Standing in goop here, which is not nice. Alright, and what do we got? Burning Rifts, don't really care. Right Hand of Carnage is kind of decent if you can get the other one as well. Left Hand of... what is it? Left Hand of Carnage? Yeah, it is. Bleeding set. Not horrible. I do see that the Den of the Wendigo is there. I'm just kind of poking around. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've been in here. I don't know that there's anything particularly exciting in here, but It could be. That looks like it just goes back there. I'm going to poke my head up that way, just see what's going on, and then we will go down to the next level. We'll find ourselves a Namadea, and hopefully we can get something better than that. Shouldn't be too hard. I think it's got a bunch of flat cold damage to pneumatic burst and such. Alright, so just a lore note. Is there any secrets behind the walls? No. Okay. There's probably some secret stuff in here. I don't know where any of it is, I'll be honest. I also kind of don't care. If I was worried about it, I would bring up the map on grimtools.com, and I would be able to find all the stuff. But I just kind of don't care. Okay. Wendigo flayers are a little bit, not scary, but they do a lot of damage. If you get surrounded by these guys, you're in for a world of hurt. So having said that, this build is pretty good. I should be using Ill Omen more often. I'm actually going to swap that. Why not? Let's put it on Amarastas and just see kind of how often it triggers. It should be about half the time I use Amarastas, so I just used it there, it didn't trigger. Used it there, it didn't trigger. There's one. So about 1 in 3, maybe 1 in 2. It's not quite 50% chance, but I mean, it's relatively reliable. You probably do want it on Ill Omen, honestly. I'm probably going to swap it back here. So I don't want to be spamming Amarastas anymore. The damage it does is less than just swinging my weapons. So I don't want to be spamming it. Let's put that back on Ill Omen. Okay, and from memory we're coming up on Namadea. It's kind of on a little platform in the top left of the area. Yep, there it is, so... Where is Namadea? There. Namadea the Screecher. Namadea the Bleeding Pools. He's getting healed, isn't he? Yep. Something's healing him. That's fine. Just gonna run around and kill everything. I think that should be all of the healer types. And yeah, now she's going down a decent bit easier. Done. Okay, Magi's of the Evil. That's not bad. I'll probably, or almost certainly use that. We've got the fetish as well. We've got what we came here for. Let's just find all of the free loot, as it were. There we go. Alright, Namadea's horns. Now, where are they? That one there. Now, for me, do I need the Aether Res? I kind of do, but also kind of not. So let's just chuck this on and see what happens. Aether Resist is massively tanked, but otherwise we're fine. Bleeding is kind of okay. Elemental, kind of not. But if we put on the Runestone on the helmet, then that'll give me... What will that give me? A bit more Aether Resistance, a bit more Elemental. I can probably swap a Wardstone for an Aether Soul. I think it'll be okay. Yeah. Right, so Namadea's Horns here. The MI stuff that I'm interested in is that massive pile of cold damage to Pneumatic Burst. Fire converted to cold, I think, actually does nothing. And then that 6% physical resistance kind of just replaces the 6% to Spectral Binding that we had here, so not a massive deal. The cold damage, I guess, is nice. The Magi's prefix is whatever, honestly. +3 to Shadow Dance is also quite good, so more chance to avoid stuff, more defensive ability. Just generally all-round good to have more of this. But we are done. That's it. That's the entire Barrowholm questline when you go hostile with them. So let's go turn it in. How are we looking for a reputation of those guys? What did we get? So we're like halfway to hated already. So if we did that like 4 times.
You've returned.
Would be Nemesis. Okay, what's next? Yep. Okay. And what do you have in mind? Simple enough. What did I not get? Oh, the Leafmain Alpha. Okay, we'll have to go kill some Leafmains for that. Right. No loot there. Hellion Greaves. No. How about these ones? I am looking to replace my current boots. Chaos Res, I've got tons of it. Bone Harvest, I don't care. The elemental resistance on the Harvest footpads is kind of hard to say no to. Especially because I want to replace a Wardstone. I don't think I can do that. Let's actually hang on to that just for the moment. What do we got for gloves at the moment? So we're using Glacial of Thorns. A little bit of Aether resistance on my gloves is really the only thing I care about, so I could maybe get some better gloves. Those boots could be good too. Losing the Aether resistance would kind of suck, so... yeah, maybe not, but they could be good. Thorns is worthless, but the Rune Carved is... it's kind of nice. Shoulders? No. Wendigo Gaze? No. No. What are you? No, don't want you either. Eighth Fire of Alacrity? No. Okay, alright, awesome.
Put it to good use.
So, let's go and do a little bit of juggling of components, and I think we'll be okay for resistances. It's not going to be amazing, I don't think, but it's going to be okay. So, Runestone on the helmet there, that's some more Aether, that's some more Elemental. Damage to Ethereals is kind of nice as well. Aether Res is, well, it's not great. Keep the item. There we go. I am going to put a Wardstone, or sorry, an Aether Soul on that. Which, did I buy the recipe for it? I did. Okay. Now the question is, do I have enough Aether Crystals? Aether Soul. I should have enough. 3 Wrathstones. 1, 2, 3. And 1 Aether Soul. There we go. Alright. So, not perfect, not amazing, but kind of good enough. The other thing I want is a Molten Shell, or Molten Skin. I've got an empty spot on my boots, so let's just get that last 3% of fire. And actually with that, I could swap out this one as well. I'm gonna do it. Wrathstone, 1, 2, 3. Aether Soul, I'm a little bit short. Level 50, I wonder if these ones are still killable. I think these may stop around level 40. Let's find out. 37. These should not be dropping. I'm not going to complain, and there's 5 of them, which is unusual. So, yeah, I'm not going to complain, but I am surprised that they still drop stuff. Yeah, that's weird, but I'll take it. The next place to buy... actually, do I even need to? How many do I have? I have 3. That should be enough. Let's just go make another Aether Soul. It's definitely a good to have max Aether Res. The bleeding res. Nope, it's fine. It's fine. We're heading into the city of Malmouth coming up here in a minute. So having good Aether resistance, not to mention the reduced damage from Ethereals from 2 Aether Souls is... I mean, it's a really good idea. So I'm happy with that. I'll eat the extra damage from bleeding. I'm not going to get another Namadea's Horns. Probably till like level 80 or so. I'm happy with this for now. So we've got goofy looking ears now. And what level do we get this? 55, we get the gloves at 50. I may not be able to use those. We'll see what happens. And these pants also could be quite good at level 50. So next level we get some new toys to play with. 3 more points. I think we just chuck them in the bar here. I don't think there's anything that's already maxed out. That's already maxed out. That's maxed out. We could put more into Necrotic Edge. Honestly, 1 more point here wouldn't be awful, but what do we got? 24 plus 15, it's going to be 39% chance. 40, 51% chance. 63, 75. So if we get 25% on execution, then I never have to worry about juggling this. And I'll be pretty happy. Alright, don't need to sell anything there, and oh, was I gonna do this? Okay, so these have got... No. The answer is no. No, I'm not going to do that. What about that? I could put the molten shell on these boots, and... yeah, then we're good. Alright, so I am going to do that. The never-ending task of juggling resistances. There we go. Everything is maxed out now. Very, very good. Run speed, 122%. Okay. Kind of want to mark with the Traveler now, but, you know, it's whatever. So, let's go to Barholm. I'm going to go hunting some, what are they called? Leafmain Alphas. I'll be able to find that pretty quickly. The Ugden Blooms, I'm going to have one of those in the stash, so we'll be able to do that quest. Guardian Cyndia. I do. Guardian Cyndia, we can head back to town. Who's shooting at me? How rude. You, Therese. Stop that. Okay, I'm not really here to depopulate the town, but if you keep running at me, I'm probably going to have to. So I'm going to head just sort of down this way. I'm not going into the mine. I'm so happy that I don't have to do the mine quest. And that whole spiel about how you should make sure you look in all the cracks and crevices, because if you miss one crab and yada yada yada. I'm so glad I don't have to do that whole little spiel. But we're just here for the Leafmain Alphas, and there's a decent number of them sort of along this edge. Where are they? There's one. Give me your horn. Nope, no horn. There's another one, that's fine. There he is. Okay, quest complete. And we can now go back to the Coven. Turn this one in. Probably won't have enough reputation for the next one, but we'll see. What was it? A Ugden Bloom. There we go. I should have been doing this for quests, but I always forget. Put on the Explorer set, get some free XP. Yep, I've already dealt with that. And, okay, we are out of reputation now, so they don't love us enough to give us the next quest. I'm going to put that on there as well. Why not? There we go. It'll be good for traveling. Okay. Halfway to 50. How are we doing for time? Yeah, we've got time. Alright, Barholm. Let's head through Ekkit-Zul's house. Now, I say this every time I get to this part of the game. Ekkit-Zul is the scariest thing between here and ultimate difficulty. Maybe Korvac. Maybe Korvac. Ekkit-Zul killed several of my characters when I was still learning the game. It took me a while to work out how to dodge his sunder, not stand in the volcano. Like, I never claimed to be intelligent, okay? Never claimed to be the smartest person. It took me a while, alright? But I still have a healthy respect for him. And so one thing you really want to make sure you have when you go in here, and the reason why I'm using Molten Skin, which I really hate using, he does a lot of fire damage. He'll also do Vitality and Chaos, and we're heading into a Chaos area, so just in general, everything in there is going to do Vitality and Chaos. But you do need Fire as well for Ekkit-Zul. And he absolutely will punish you if you don't have it. So you'll see there the extra procs. It's absolutely better to have it on Ill-Omen. I take back everything nice I said about Amaras's Blade Burst. You need to put Elemental Storm on Ill-Omen, and then you need to do what I don't do and use it more often. Alright, we can fight this stuff. There's going to be ghosts pop out of the ground here. There's going to be ghosts over here. Fight it if you wish. I'm out. The Desolate Waste here, there is an Exalted Stash in here. I always check the first place here. It's over here underneath this little head. There'll be a big giant skull. There it is. So big skull, Exalted Stash. If it's not here, I don't know where it is. Run around till you find it, or decide to skip it like I normally do. It's entirely up to you what you choose to do. I always check there. If it's not there, I just kind of shrug and go, well, I'm out of ideas, and then I move on. Let's see if we can't kill a lot of this stuff here. There is a lot of XP here. Just need to cut these Chthonians open until we find it. That tyrant always bothers me. Alright, that'll do us. So we can skip this section. The Storm Heart is not there except on ultimate difficulty, so we're not worried about that. Alright. Olithot Mal, the Tormentor, getting healed from somewhere. These big spider things, or Chthonian blood, whatever, blood keepers, they're the ones doing the healing, so if you just target them, this model, target them first, kill them off, suddenly things will be considerably easier to kill. Alright, Void's Edge is Ekketzul's house. He lives here, he's in the middle, and you can't avoid him. You must kill him in order to progress. The great thing about this first section is you're running towards a boss door, so you can fight this stuff, you can skip this stuff. I'm going to fight it, that's a lot of XP. Also, there's a boss there. Down he goes, I think. I don't know, it's a bit of a mess. It's hard to tell what's dead, what's alive. I think they're all dead. Alright, so like I said, there's a boss door here. You can pop this door, run in, and it'll close behind you and lock everything out. So you can kind of stand here and go Nina, 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 and they can't do anything about it. Alright, Ekketzul's on the other side of this little lava blood volcano thing. When you run over here, he'll flap his way down from wherever he is. And as long as your fire resist, vitality, and chaos resist are kind of maxed out, you're alright. He has two moves that you need to worry about. The first one is his Sunder, where he'll kind of lean forward and flap his wings. Just evade that. Although, I think I'm going to stand in it. I have a theory that it's broken at the moment and not applying Sunder, because I've thought that I've been hit by it a number of times and not actually got Sundered. So I'm going to deliberately stand in the first one and just see if it applies Sunder. The other thing he does that you need to be kind of worried about is the volcano he'll put on the floor. It's the same sort of volcano as you get from the Magi here, this Fisher proc, so if you've ever played a fire character and used this proc, you'll know what it looks like. It's a little volcano, it's about yay big, and it spits little fire projectiles. If you're standing in the middle of it, it can shotgun, so I mean, don't stand in the middle of it, I guess. Alright, here he comes. So I'm going to try to remember to actually get shotgunned, or get sundered the first time. Let's see how he goes. There it is. It does apply. Okay. Alright. Here comes the volcanoes. Next-ish. Ish. There it is. So there's the volcano. You can see it spitting stuff out. Don't stand directly in the middle of it. Getting hit by the occasional projectile is not a big deal. This is not as scary as the one from Gargle Balls, who does percent damage and will rapidly kill you. If you're standing in one of Gargle Balls' volcanoes, you will go 100 dead very, very quickly. This one's not quite so scary. Okay, all this stuff here, yeah, we don't care. Actually, I care a little bit. I see the star above his head. I kind of want the XP. You can absolutely just run past this. There's enough room with no new monsters that these will actually reset by the time you get to Ulgrim. But that was a decent chunk of XP, and I kind of wanted to get that. Okay, here's Ulgrim. Be careful when you're talking to Ulgrim. There is an option in his dialogue tree where you can fight him, and he's not a pushover. He is quite difficult. If you notice just behind him, what does that look like? That is the corpse of the Logorian. So he got sucked into, effectively, hell and fought the devil, and he won. So, you know, keep that in mind. If you choose to fight him, he's a bit of a badass. Alright, so what happened here? Where are we? Snap out of it. I'm not the Emperor. I'm your friend. There we go. We'll take the Void to Melmoth. Okay, and I will find us a way out. Right. Try and avoid fighting him unless you want to. He is a decently difficult fight. I have beat him on multiple characters. He is not insurmountably difficult, but yeah, you don't want to play around with him, put it that way. He has, after all, just come into the Logorian's house and killed him, so a little bit of respect, you know? I have all the confidence in the world that you can kill him if you wish, but there is an achievement for doing it as well. So if you beat him on normal or on veteran, there is an achievement for doing it, and it's a fun fight. If you know what you're doing, it can be definitely doable. Alright, and we have made it to is it Mondale? Lone Watch. Okay. There we go. I'm on it. Wait here. There's another blueprint that I already know. Always. And we're now level 50, so I'm going to go down here and kill Balvadar. Because he's made out of reputation and XP and maybe loot. Oh, and a seal as well. Very nice. Couple seals. Very hard to say no to that. However, we're going to go and play with our gear again. And for anyone who doesn't want to watch this part, this will be the end of the content. I'm unfortunately running out of time for today. But let's see if we can't swap some gear out. So there we go. And we'll be getting some vitality and some bleeding resistance back from this component. We will be 1% under on Aether, and we'll be 7% under on Piercing, and I'm kind of okay with that. I probably shouldn't be, but I am. Touch of the Everliving Grove are actually kind of bad. But then they have the Healing Winds proc there, and suddenly they're really, really good. So 2% plus 1200. 1% of my health bar is 72, so it's 150. So let's just go ahead and call it 1400 hit point heal every 6 seconds as long as I'm attacking stuff. And this is any attack. So Ill Omen on a crowd of like 20 monsters is 20 attacks every second for the entire duration. 10% doesn't sound so bad now. It's a very good proc. It'll trigger pretty much every time it's off cooldown. Not exactly every time it's off cooldown, but kind of close to it. Alright. We're not actually looking too good on a lot of these resistances. We've got a decent amount of Chaos overcap, but I don't have any components for Chaos. So kind of doesn't really help. Same for Elemental, I'm only just capped on Fire. I do want to replace these shoulders, but again, Piercing, I would need to get almost 30% Piercing on a pair of shoulders before I could replace that. We're definitely okay. These two Aether Souls, between them, are about 10% less damage from Ethereals, so being 1% over, that's fine. How about this ring? No is the answer. No, we can't do that. Alright, that's fine. We'll get rid of all of this rubbish. What were those pants? It's a lot of armor. I don't have the physique for it, but I could get the physique. Rime-Frost of Protection. That is so much armor. A little bit of cold damage I don't really care about. The retaliation is good, but we actually avoid a lot of attacks, so maybe not. That's happening. What did I do for oh no, it's not. Can't. I need the resistances. That's a lot of Pierce, Poison, and Aether. So if I put that on, that still kind of blocks my resistances. Okay. It's Pierce and Bleeding, 7%. That would uncap Bleeding. But that is so much armor. Can I afford not to? Okay, Vitality is slightly uncapped. But we're heading into Malmoth, so I don't think I care. Same with Bleeding. I think I'm going to make that swap there. And we can sell the rest of this. Those boots are... that's a no. Okay, leveling up. Pretty simple. We put 1 point in here. Doesn't unlock any new passives that I want. You could make the argument for 1 point in here, but honestly, after losing the points in Nidala's and Nidala's, we don't do a huge amount of poison, so I'm just going to put all 3 into the bar. Let's get these other procs on the way. And let's go get that component back. I'm sure I'll get 3 more pieces of the Perdition set before we get to Ultimate. Okay, and that'll just about do us for this episode. So I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.